David Hewlett. Mad as it seems. I'm trying to see the chat on my computer right now because I need a bigger phone. I got to get a bigger phone. I think I put them up on here as well. I think you can actually see them too, which is kind of fun. But first, some fresh orange juice. Delicious. That is freshly squeezed orange juice. My wife, I don't actually, now I think about it. Did she squeeze all those oranges? No, she must have bought an orange juice of some sort. I can't imagine she'd go to all that trouble. She doesn't love me that much. Anyways, let me close the door to just keep the soccer game down a little bit. Maybe some light in this God-forbidden winterous type of whatever the heck it is that we're in right now. Good morning, Pegasus. Good morning, not someone UK know. And Mandy, how are you? So Burn and Learn, another Burn and Learn for you. Yeah, I'm a freaking machine, so let me tell you, I'm a freaking machine. So another 30 minutes, a little bit more actually, but I'm so obsessed now with this wretched trying to get to 6.5 kilometers. So the exercise is done for today. I had to go a bit late because my son is here, so I won't talk for long. But it's just so nice when he comes back for the weekend. I know he's got things to do and people to see and all that cool stuff that kids do, but it is just kind of fun for an old man to have his little buddy back. So, but as a result, I actually put a sign above his door that says gym. So this time it was gym. Last time he came home, it said room for rent. I like to make him feel like really comfortable, like I'm not using his space irresponsibly in any way. So, how is everybody? Christian, Commander, Travis, Kawhi, Kimberly, Canton, Ohio. Oh, fantastic. All right. Xenos, I shall send your best to Baz and Jane. And I need a lemon. I do. Actually, that's true. Can I make my own lemon emoji? I'll have to do that. I have to work on that. I'll get AI to do it for me since that seems to be the way these things all work. So I'm trying to look at you. But the reality is, now I think about it, is my chat is down here. Maybe I should just move you folks in here maybe so we can see. A little too close to me, I'm sure. But this is the usual Burn and Learn, just so you know. This is my bid to stay alive and fit long enough to enjoy my fabulous all grown up son and my amazing, wonderful, brilliant genius of a wife, Jane, and our menagerie of pets. Bloody pets. Dog barking away, getting us up at the crack of dawn. Anyways, 30 minutes of exercise. And then, of course, because I hate the exercise so much, I like to do some learning while I'm doing it. So the learning today, I couldn't resist it. I know I should be continuing my book on China, and it really is fascinating. Just the idea that it's, just the way it suddenly all makes sense, how they consider war, how they consider finance, how they consider themselves, how there's this amazing kind of sense of permanence to China and its existence on the planet, which is just, I guess, allows them to think more into the future than perhaps we do. And again, I guess they worry less about the individual and more about the whole, I guess, the party right now, I suppose. But the fact that the country has this interesting sort of approach to even just to the way they had when, sort of, as they would put it, the barbarians would come in and they would only be allowed a little way into China, and then they'd get sent home in the winter, and then the idea was basically to sort of keep them at arm's length, but sort of see what's going on. And the idea of studying your quote unquote enemy or your invader, or letting your invader invade you, and then sort of explain to them like, oh, well, you know what? I mean, oh, you got us. Look, the best way to run this place is how we're running it right now. So why don't you just hop in here and we'll show you how it's run and get you going. And the next thing you know, you've got just another group of sort of newly recruited Chinese, basically. I mean, so just that was their approach. They had, they struggled more with the as the Western culture sort of took off, they had a harder time doing that. But even then, the idea that they would turn their enemies against each other. There was just this really smart approach to like basically avoiding conflict as much as possible at the forefront. I mean, the last resort would be warfare. Everything else was about sort of subterfuge and false information. And I just sort of go like, wow, they must be kind of laughing right now, because the rest of the world is just is in like a bad sort of slappy, insulty war with each other, and it just seems like a disaster. And I can't imagine a better way for any of your potential enemies to be behaving right now. It's just extraordinary. Anyways, so yes, I should be reading the On China, but I took a break and I listened to Hacked instead. And Hacked, I believe, is a Canadian podcast, and they were just talking about. They talk about they talk about breaches and computer related crime and invasion of privacy, false info, all this kind of stuff. And the stuff they were talking about today, I actually looked it up because I wanted to just make sure that I had the right numbers, because I just couldn't believe this. They say that this is just scam and banned good ads on Meta's platforms account for 10% of their income. It's like $16 billion last year in income from known scam and banned goods, and so basically criminal activity that is known by Meta accounts for 10% or $16 billion last year, which just seems revolting to me. And that doesn't even account for all the other scams. There was some other stat about the idea that it was like 1 in 5 or something extra. I don't know the numbers. Those could be made up numbers, but it was something extraordinarily high, like 1 in 5 or something. Online scams is directly related in some way to a Meta product, which is not surprising if you think about it. I mean, you've got WhatsApp, you've got Instagram, you've got Facebook. I'm sure they've got other things, but I mean, the idea that any of those platforms could be scam related. The fact that they know, they know these things they know that this 10% is scams or illegal, and they don't get rid of it because it's $16 billion of income. In fact, what they do, and I guess they would say, I'm rubbing against there. What they would say, I suppose, is that it's a penalty. Like if you're a dodgy company, you got to pay more to put the ad up. But the reality is, all that happens is that those companies have to pay a little bit more to put their known scam ad up there. And I just thought that was freaking disgusting. And I kind of feel a bit like, I don't know. I feel a bit like maybe I should be dropping off the socials here. I mean, weirdly, I don't think of YouTube as a social, but I guess it is too. But I went on to Twitter today just to sort of help spread some of the goodwill on the new Stargate announcements and that wonderful Gate World interview that they did. I just thought it was really nice of them to do it, and I thought they did it really well. And I just thought, credit where credit's due and stuff. And it's no harm to remind them that I'm around. I mean, just thought on the off chance, maybe there's something I could do. Maybe there's I could make sandwiches. I make some really good breakfast sandwiches. I make good breakfast sandwich. Maybe that could be my role in the new Stargate thing. Anyways, let me have a look at some of the chat here. See what's going on. This is who joins CBC and Wolf Entertainment Podcast Aftermath Hunt for the Anthrax Killer. It's a fascinating story. This, but wow. Okay, yeah, and I'll definitely look at that. Blue Jay, that's great. Blue Jay. Oh, Blue Jay. We didn't win, I think was the idea. It was a sports ball for those of you like me who don't know much about sports. I'm never calling Twitter X. I refuse on principle. Apparently they're going to let Twitter, the Twitter handle, like the twitter.com, will not resolve anymore to X soon in coming days. I was like, okay, good luck with that. Hey, Gimpy G, how you doing? I had a nice chat, a bit short yesterday, but a nice chat with the Gimpy G yesterday. It'd be amazing to see you, Jay Flanagan, Jason, and Rachel reprise your roles again. Yeah, it'd be fun to get them all together again, wouldn't it? Rodney's the new Woolsey. Oh my God, I hadn't thought of that. Oh God, I'm the new old guy. Oh my God, we're like those old guys we used to wheel in. I remember him from so and so. Given how it all works, I'm 100% convinced you are set to film when it starts. Okay, great, perfect. Yeah, that would be. I'm with you. I'm happy to do that. Oh my God, I just got a new scene for the boys. I can't tell you about. Oh my God. I wish I could tell you about it. This show is insane. Sorry. Hello from Oregon. Hello to you. Not going to ask the obvious stuff. I actually wanted to ask if you wanted to see this new series go in a certain way. What would you do? Something like SG1, SGA, or try something different like SGU? I think I'd go like, it's so funny because for years I've said they should just do like Stargate Academy. It would be the great way to do it because you get to bring in all the new people and then you could have the old folks wheeled in once in a while for some comic support and, keep it, if they wanted to keep it rooted in the older Stargates, which they seem to be keen to do that. So that's good for them. I got to say, it's also smart. You don't want to, I think one of the problems that they had going forward after Atlantis was the move from Atlantis to SGU because they were such different shows. And SGU was beautiful. It's absolutely amazing, beautifully acted, beautifully written. It's a fantastic show. It's just a very different tone and approach to the Stargate that most people were used to. So I think it might have been a bit abrupt. This way, I feel like this feels a little bit more sort of fan focused, which I think is a really good thing. And also, it's Garrow. He's a nerd like us. He's a good guy, and he wrote the best freaking stuff for McKay too. I just think I love this sort of full circle approach. That he was sort of started in Stargate and went off and did his amazing things, and then has come back and is now basically running things, which is fantastic. So yeah, I do very much hope. I do hope something comes out of it. My fingers and toes are all crossed and all, but I know as much as you do, and no more. I know no more than you do. I'm too busy exercising, right? That's it. Someone actually asked me the other day whether I was exercising in order to get in shape for the show, and I was like, well, actually, if you remember, McKay was not so fit. I think McKay would happily be preparing by eating burgers and sandwiches. I'm excited I can bother my friends with a grand new generation of actors who all yell, "They're on Stargate!" whenever I recognize them. Yeah, there you go. That's it. You can be that guy or that girl. Hi, David. I always wanted to ask you about Nothing. Ooh, yeah. 2003. It's one of my favorites. Think you could convince Vincenzo Natali to make a sequel. That's funny. I'd love to see that as I think it'd be kind of a fun series, wouldn't it? Like a weird series. It's such an odd film. We watched it again recently. It was like a festival screening, and I hadn't seen it for so long. I thought, I'll sit down and watch it. We thought we were so funny. I'm not sure. Like again, I think I get Vincenzo is brilliant. The way he makes films is just extraordinary. I was in such a miserable place when I was making that film. I feel bad because I don't feel like I remember the film that much. I remember, elements of it, but oh gosh, it was a terrible time. My wife and I at the time were my first wife, and it was always terrible. So I was not a good person, and I was not enjoying things the way I probably should have. But it was just fun to watch it again recently. Just go like, oh my god, look how young we were and how ridiculous this thing was. It's fun. I'm glad you liked it. It's got a real cult. A cult following on that thing. I'm amazed how many people come up and have me sign things like that. So we can't be dead. We've got cable. You could call it something. Very good, Scooby Joe. It's true, very true. Yep. Have you been to New Zealand? I have. You should come down and do I'd love to do Armageddon again. Are you kidding, Tim? Any chance we get to go to Australia or to New Zealand, we are on that bus. Like that is just the most amazing part of the world. I met some extraordinary people there, seen some amazing things. Jane and I were in Sydney. We've been traveling around for a little bit, and we suddenly literally turned to each other and went like, why don't we just live here? Like we should live here. But of course the problem is you're like $6,000 away from all of your loved ones and old friends and things. So I think it would be a little distancing now, although, now the kid's got his own life and stuff. Maybe we can, I keep pushing for pig and a tractor in the Midlands. That's where I'm hoping for. What do we got here? You say you know nothing about, even if you did, you can't say. So the real question is, do you know something? Zodsmar. Okay. So in all honesty, Martin was very sweet and very thoughtful and emailed us, I think everyone, but I didn't, it wasn't like a mass email that I could see, but it was, I got the sense that he probably emailed everyone about it. But it was a very sort of heartfelt sort of thank you and just letting us know what was going on and that there were no decisions made as to, the specifics of it, which I'm sure he knows more than that, but at the same time, he can't say anything, obviously, and you can't make promises to freaking actors without, it's a, yeah, whatever. So, I do hope something comes out of it. As I say, of all of the scripts, I mean, my favorites were Brad and Garrow's, you know what I mean? And Lovely Joe's there to keep things on track as well. So, it's, I think, yeah, it seems like I thought it was a really good start. As I just felt it was a good beginning for this stuff. I'd love to jump on Tech Talk if I can at some point, preferably not in this sweaty mode. But I'm going to see if I can pop in and say hi, depending on because the kid's home this weekend. I want to spend as much time as I can with him. Because I'm a giant suck. David Hewlett, you don't look like you actually exercise. Maybe you just messed up your hair a bit. Want half our money back for the missing burn. Oh, trust me, there is misery behind. I had to like sort of hose myself down a little bit before I came on today. I was so sweaty today. Hey, do we see you at new season? Germany is calling. Ooh, I gotta get to Germany. I think we might be in Germany. We may be going to Berlin in, I think, February. It's possible we might be in Berlin in February. So let me know what I should be doing in Berlin. Dolores Johnson, the shrine was kind of magnificent, wasn't it? Sorry, I have to look over there to see the chat because this is so small. It's so small and tiny. It's perfect. We're very lucky to get all of these people in. Yeah, what is going on? Where is everyone coming from? This has got to be a huge letdown for people who don't normally see this, because this is literally what I do to reward myself for my pathetic half an hour of exercise. Like I literally to cheer myself up and to make this a little bit of a positive, ego boosting experience. What I do is I do this exercise and then I come on and I chat to people. That's the soccer, by the way. That's the football. That's the sports ball going on. Who's playing? Newcastle City. Who are they playing? Oh, Newcastle's playing a team called City. Oh, Man City. Very good. So it's not Newcastle City, which is what I thought. As you can tell, I'm really up to date on this stuff and keeping up with this. We've all come from Gate World where a Michael Shanks didn't turn up. What for? What? He was supposed to? Oh no, was there supposed to be a chat? I guarantee you, it's time zones. I guarantee you that's the mess up. I know nothing of sports. I know neither do I. I mean, do you? That's an interesting question. What was that? Can I scroll back in this? Oh, I can scroll back in this, and I don't have to. That's great. Do you ever speak about the 2 episodes of Murdoch Mysteries you did? Great job on that role. Thank you very much, Gary Simmons. That was fun. That was really fun. I've known Yannick since he was a kid, like literally a kid. In fact, I think he was like at a party on like a date with one of my sisters at one point. And I think it was like a single date. I think that was it. But just a lovely kid. Like he was a lovely kid. Now he's one of those like actor producers who's actually a producer, if that makes sense. Like a lot of the actor producers, it's name only, and they sort of, they get better sandwiches or something. But he's like in there making sure the show's good and continues and that everything's on track and everyone's looked after. And yeah, I'm really, really impressed with him actually. And it was just oh my God, it was such a great show. And I got a reunion with my wonderful Traders co-star, and yeah, it's a beautiful little episode actually. Ali did an amazing job on that, and I hope they get it back for much more. Live stream. They're waiting for him on Wormhole Extreme YouTube. Wormhole Extreme YouTube. What's that? We should start a petition to make sure David is going to be in the new Stargate series. I'm happy for you to do that, Jo. You just go right ahead. You feel free to let him know that I'd like to be back. Remember, I make really good egg sandwiches and stuff. So potentially, even if it's just catering, maybe I could be there for catering. Background, I could do background stuff. Maybe I could dial the gate once in a while, or maybe just be an assistant to Mr. Garrow, something like that. Hi, David. How are you? Were you told about this? Probably, yeah. So I just mentioned this. That yeah, literally like the night before I found out this was the case. Apparently, my agent says that he'd known that there was something in the works for a while. I was like, what? Yeah. How do you and you didn't tell me? Like, come on. Anyways, it's kind of exciting. It's kind of fun. At first, I was like, I don't know how I'm going to feel about this because it's been 21 years. Like since we wrapped Stargate, we had a son, and that son went to schools and had life, and now is at university. You know what I mean? It's such a long way away, and yet because of all of this, because of this wonderful interwebs and my I'm with Stargate Genius stuff, and it's just sort of for me. It's got a kind of a nice. It was just beginning to have a nice refresh for me in like just a personal way. Like I've been able to sort of go like, oh, I've always been a little bit unsure about this whole convention thing and how that works, and now that I found this way, thanks to Agne of tying in my love of the science that's going on behind some of the science fiction. The idea of connecting those two has been wonderful for me because it sort of renewed my interest in all of this stuff, and just given me another thing to talk about with Stargate fans and sort of keep, for want of a better word, to keep the conversations fresh. It's after 21 years, there's only so many times you can just say what your favorite chocolate bar was or whatever. You know what I mean? Everyone always comes up with some good questions, but there are some that will always repeat. So I sort of just got to that point. And then this happened, and I was like, "Oh my god!" Like now, I don't even know, But I'm going to talk to Agni about it on Monday. Like if there's something we should be doing, or if we should be changing our approach at all or anything. But I love the fact that Stargate allows me to meet true geniuses, whether they're in film, TV. The sciences, technology, the arts. I mean, I get to meet people who are so good at what they do, whether it's on set or in these, at these tech conferences or at these convention conferences, like the cosplay stuffs that they build, the YouTubers, all this kind of stuff. I just love that little hook for people is enough to get me in the door and able to talk to people that I would just never have access to otherwise. And so I get to sort of like do my lifelong learning adventure with people who actually know this stuff or teach this stuff or discovered this stuff, or who are about to go through, to become the professionals on this stuff. So it's just really kind of exciting. I should go because I would love to have a shower, say hi to the kid. If he's around, I'll hang with him, maybe play a game of Riftbound, which is our new game. And if he's not going to be around, maybe I'll pop on and just say hi to the Tech Talk folks. In fact, if you've got nothing to do, definitely, even if you've got something to do, go check out Tech Talk because that's on Barnacle's channel. Whenever I can, I go and talk to those guys because it's just they're a fun couple of lads, very smart, and they know their stuff. What do you got? You were the star of Atlantis, bigger than Jason, in my opinion. They got to get you back. I like. You should be a producer on this, Chad. I think, but you tell Jason that, not me. Okay. Is there a link to that? Does someone have a link to Barnacles' channel? If anyone listens to Barnacles in here, it would be amazing if you could throw a link in. And also check out the Tech Bandits Discord. That's right. I gotta get on there. Like I never go on. It's just so many. How do people do this? There's too many things to check. Is there some way to sort of like have it all in one big fancy screen? I could get a really big monitor and have everything on it like that. It'd be like Batman. What was it? What did they call that? What did Batman call the thing? Do you hear that? That is sports ball going well for one of the sports ball teams. Thank you, Cal. Cal, you're amazing. Isn't Cal amazing? Everyone thank Cal. All right. Okay. Ultra wide monitor. Yeah. Ultra wide monitor. You know what I love? Like 2 ultra wide monitors. So it's almost like you're almost surrounded like that. It'd be like the bat signal thing. What was it called that they did? Does anyone remember what it was called in the Batman movie where he used all of the cell phones in the city or the world or whatever, I think it was the city, to basically ping back and let him know where things were, what was happening, and then he could basically see things by. It was a kind of a brilliant idea. I felt like you could do an entire movie just on that, but I don't remember what the system was called. It was called something. It was like sonar, exactly. Casually Sandra, exactly. It was a sonar thing. YouTube channel is Nerdgasm indeed. And sign up for the email. But you guys are all like my marketing people now. It's amazing. You guys are better at the marketing than I am. David's going to end up in mixed reality with all the floating screens around him. Yeah, except I throw up. Hackers today can track keystrokes by vibrations. Wow. Oh, that reminds you. That's the Learn part. So the Learn part was this hacker show talking about this meta stuff. Have a look into it because the idea that there is a platform like Meta out there that is making over like $16 billion a year by selling you scams, and that they know are scams, and they make money, and you get ripped off or sold stuff that doesn't work or that is illegal or whatever. I'm kind of shocked by that. I've got to say, maybe I'm just a naive little guy, but it doesn't feel very benign anymore, this whole sort of Facebooky thing. I'm debating, again, just maybe I should get off Twitter and get off Instagram and get off all these ones, and then maybe just stick to the streaming platforms I like. And then, the newsletter. So and if I do that, even better. So newsletter, go. Before you do everything else, go techbandits.org. Sign up for the email of awesomeness, and then you have a direct connection to my brain, basically, because I will send out the fun, cool things that I find interesting at random times of the day and night, at random weeks or months. And anyways, it's literally like a connection to my brain because it's that random. So please do that. Techbandits.org. That'd be amazing. There's some other stuff there if you want to. You can donate. You can do. There's a Patreon if you want to do that. But there's also Stargate inspired McKay merchandise, because there was none, so I made my own. So go check that out. Techbandits.org. And then please go check out Barnacles and an auxiliary, and say hi from me, and we will hopefully I'll be able to pop on there before they wrap up. So get out of here. Be brave, be kind, be brilliant. Cheerio and huzzah. And thank you again. Once again, I can't get over. Understand, why do you people watch an old sweaty man complaining about exercise and babbling about the world? But I do love you for it. So, all right, get out of here. I'll talk to you soon.